Hello and welcome to Real Actors, Real Answers, the podcast where you are the star. I am so excited to reintroduce to you one of my students and just a great all-around person, Pej. Last time I spoke to Pej, it was about a year ago. Okay, he's been going through a lot of transformations and just a whole lot of fun. Where do I start? He's a stand-up comedian. He's a film actor. He's an advocate. He'll describe it to you, everything. But I'm just really, really happy to see him again. It's been such a long time. So, Pej, how are you doing?
Man, David, thanks for having me on again, man. I'm doing well. I'm here in LA. I'm living it up. I'm busy. I'm chasing the proverbial dream, but instead of chasing it, I learned that I need to just catch it instead of chasing, because the chase it never ends, but the catching is different. So that's kind of where my mindset has gone to. But I think the last time we spoke, I was still in Sacramento. So
Yes.
yeah. How you doing?
Sacramento?
Sacramento is good. I'll always love Sacramento. I spent 20 years there, but it'll always be a second home for me. But Los Angeles was I just had the itch. I had to be here. I had a lot of goals that would have only been possible if I moved here. Not that I couldn't have done it in Sacramento. I think here I needed that pressure cooker to kind of put me into a better mental focus. And boy, am I glad I came, because that's exactly what's happening. So you step up, right, when you have to. And that's kind of why there was no other option than to come here. So
let me get something straight. You're saying that Los Angeles, everybody's different. I'm fascinated by that. Los Angeles helps you to focus on your career.
Absolutely, yeah, it does. Not Sacramento was, if I couldn't ask for a better start to my stand-up career than Sacramento. Sacramento really helped me establish myself and start to hone in on my brand of comedy, and really helped me figure all that out. And though there's still a few screws that I'm tightening, Sacramento helped me find my calling, right? And from that point forward, it just felt like, I always follow my gut, that third eye, right? I always listen to that. There's planning, and there's being strategic, and there's being, business savvy, and all of that comes with being in this industry. That's all important, and it should be there. But we should always, in my opinion, you got to listen to that gut, because that gut is telling you, it's guiding you where to go. It's hinting, right? And the way it hints is when your cup is empty, or when you feel like you're unfulfilled. That's the gut telling you it's time for change. So that was how I defined it, and I'm lucky that I was able to listen to it. And now 9 months later, I've been here in LA.
9 months later, she gave birth.
Yeah, I was reborn, if you will. But yeah, it's been great. Doing a lot of things out here, a lot of networking, a lot of opportunities, a lot of mics, a lot of shows. Acting is going strongly as well, learning a lot from that angle. It's all a blessing. I'm also working as a teacher during the day. So it's the days there's definitely no time to sit there and think, which is exactly why I came here, So
are you playing, I'm going to use these terms, you tell me if I'm right or wrong. Are you playing the circuit?
Yeah, I haven't hit every room here in LA, because that takes a long time to do. There's a lot here, and there's always a new one happening, right? But with the with the more well-known clubs out here, like the Laugh Factory and the Comedy Store, or the Improv, these are all, I'm either there networking, or I'm booked there, either for a roast battle or for a stand-up set. So yeah, I'm just building on all of that. And I'm also producing. I'm also producing my own shows here. So I've been finding some rooms to book comics myself and put on shows with my own brand of mixing comedy and that late night talk show style with the live music to bring in the comics and play them onto the stage. And the comics and the audience have been enjoying those, and they love to come back. So I'm glad that what I love is also shared with these people. So
What is your favorite, or what has been your favorite, if you can choose, your favorite comedy club?
favorite comedy club in LA, I would have to go with, and it's hard to choose because the Comedy Store is great, Laugh Factory is great, but I kind of like the color for how the Laugh Factory is set up, the way the walls are colored, the brighter lights, to put an extra shine on that stage. Comedy Store is amazing too. I love that store. I also Improv, very pretty aesthetics to look at. There's some smaller rooms too that I really enjoy. This one's not really smaller, but it's probably not as well known. Like I didn't know about the Ice House, which is in Pasadena, California, and I've had the opportunity to go there and see the stages there. Those are also beautiful stages. But yeah, Sunset Rooftop, a smaller venue. It's on a rooftop, literally, with umbrellas as ceiling, which is a pretty cool setup. I do a lot of shows there. Cosmic Vinyl, which is where I produce my show as well. It's a record store with a barista taking coffee orders. They have a full assortment of coffee. So if you're here in LA on Sunset, off the Sunset Strip, go and check out Cosmic Vinyl, support them. I'm good friends with the owner, a very kind person, and he's been helping me get my feet under me here in LA. So those are a few rooms. I think you asked for one, but I gave you like 15.
Sure. No, that's excellent. You sound like a Los Angeles resident. You do. You're kind of laid back. The sun has definitely an effect on you. I just visited California excuse me. I just visited Florida. It's bright,
The Sunshine State, they call that state.
Yeah. Now I know why. Yeah, it's like my eyes. It's like, whoa, Have you met anybody famous?
Famous. What does that mean again?
I don't know.
I've met people who are more well known throughout in celebrity. I guess we can call them celebrities. Yeah, I have I've had the opportunity to meet several of both comics and some actors that I've had the pleasure of meeting. Nothing bad to say about any of them. They're all down to earth and very kind. And when I introduce myself to them and they learn about what I'm doing, and they absolutely, basically have a conversation with me. We break the ice and they really just, whatever questions I have, they're usually more than happy to answer. One of my comics I really always enjoyed is Bobby Lee, and I've seen him at the Comedy Store. Had a conversation with him. I met his brother at an In-N-Out, which is our famous burger joint out here. So that was funny that I just ran into him. So you see these celebrities at the venues that you're at, but also sometimes you just see them at, because they're just regular people, just like all of us. So, and that's the beauty part. I think that's what I learned by moving to LA was that, what, everybody is just everybody. we're all humans, and that's what's beautiful about it.
So I know it's competitive, to say the least. However, it sounds like to me that you it's kind of like a kind of a family supportive group as well.
Yeah, it's competitive, but honestly, the only person you're competing against is yourself. Ultimately, that's the only person you're competing against, and even then, for me, what I've learned is every day that you wake up, you have an opportunity to go further than you were the day before. That's either an inch or that's 100 miles. You've gone forward, and I think that exercise for me is key to be able to just continue to count my blessings and just know that, hey, you know what? I'm growing every day. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know that I did the best that I could do today. And for me, I have grace on myself with that, and I think that's important that we all do. This industry is it can be as loving and fruitful as you want it to be, so long as you don't lose your smile, and so long as you don't become jaded, right? As you know, many have and many haven't, but it can do that. It can do that if you start competing with others. Comparison is recipe for disaster, I always say. Everyone that's doing what you're doing, and if they're ahead, it doesn't mean necessarily. First of all, each journey is so unique, right? Your journey and my journey are very different from each other, but uh, one isn't more correct than the other. It's just they're two different journeys that our lives have taken us through, and no one can live your journey, and I can, and you can't live mine, and I can't live yours. So it's important to remember that it's your story and it's my story, and we can all have our stories so long as we focus on it and not get distracted with all the noise.
Absolutely.
And
There's a
no,
lot of white noise out there.
yeah, totally.
Now, I'm going to ask you something, and this is for the benefit of, well, I want to learn too, and for the audience. Where do you get your jokes? And do you think that it's hard to find things that are funny that you can actually share?
Honestly, a lot of a lot of the jokes that I I started my comedy career doing a lot more storytelling, but as I've been continuing to do that, and lucky for me, I had a very perfectly dysfunctional family with a lot of funny things that we did, and it was just there's a lot there, you know. Uh, I do a joke where I call myself refugeed up from the feet up, and it's about just coming to America, right, and being immigrants, and the hilarity that lies within just trying to be, you know, living in the American life, and then my dad and my mom just their point of view on all that and how it differed from mine, and how that sometimes was a friction, sometimes it was the arguments that ensued, and it's all in hindsight just hilarious, and some of the activities we did when we were in 1995. But anyway, the so there's a lot of stories there. What I've been doing more now is more observational as well. I'm a mix. I'm throwing it in, so it's kind of a hybrid of my life experience, and so those inspire jokes. And I working at a school, you got jokes for days, man. These kids are hilarious. Like these, yeah, the way they look at things that adults look at, it's that there's so much material there. Material is everywhere you choose to look, right? And that is and it's not easy all the time, but you continue to just keep that comic brain on, and not take life too seriously. And I think that is key to finding the laughter.
I like that. What do you teach?
I teach at a private school here in downtown Los Angeles, and it's a private school, and I got connected to them through another school that I was at in Sacramento. So that kind of bridged me down to here, and I love the school. The administration team is really kind and very cooperative. It's a very team effort. It's almost family time. Like it feels like family. Like everybody is supportive of each other. We solve problems together. There's no fingers being pointed at like, hey, have you done this? It's not. It doesn't ever feel that way. And so it's very easy for me to adjust and adapt to their system because they were so welcoming.
It sounds like to me you just blew the stereotype out of California because it's not dog eat dog. I mean, there's competition, of course, but that's everywhere.
Yeah.
People are friendly. People are nice. People are people wherever you go. I think a lot of it has to do, honestly, because I lived in California for a while. The sun has a lot to do with it. I'm just saying, the sun, the beach, the surf, the mountains, everything else. People are friendlier.
Absolutely. I think weather has a big impact on mood and on personality ultimately. I always say, and this is easier said than done, I've lived in a state that is blistering cold in the winter and there's snow everywhere. You know what I'm talking about. And I've lived it. I lived in Maryland. I lived in Maryland on two occasions. One from 1995 to '03, and then again in 2012 for 1 year. So I lived that, and so I could see it, right? But here's the thing: I always thought, and when I wasn't living in Maryland, I was living in California in Sacramento. So I kind of got the experience of both sides of this nation. And I started to think, I was like, okay, I'm starting to see it. I start to see, like, you start to feel, you feel the like that cold, and you start to feel yourself just wanting to be like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to get to from point A to point B. I think that's there, but I think because I've lived here and then I went back, I was able to catch myself, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. So what I'm saying is it was a choice ultimately, right? Now, the easy choice is to do what's been happening in a lot of the colder states and to just be more grumpy perhaps, or be more blunt, or be, you know what I'm talking. Well, here you're a great example of not making the same choice either, right? You've made the choice to be positive and to go after it and keep your smile and choose to be happy and and inspire ultimately. And that is so when people say, like, hey, yeah, I'm from New York. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything for you, But I'm like, okay, well, you're making that choice ultimately. Don't blame it on the sky, but But I'm not there to convince people to be a certain way. I'm just saying, I was able to catch myself so that I wasn't getting sucked into that mentality. So.
Sure. Sure. You have to be an individual. Now, you have, if I remember correctly, you've traveled outside of California, different places to do different stand-up.
Yeah. So I've performed in a city called Grants Pass, Oregon. I had the privilege last year to headline a show out there. A small city, but the venue was nice, and the people were even nicer. And I had a fun time. I think I did about an hour. It was great. It was did my material, did some talk to the crowd. Really fun time doing that show. I've also performed in Austin, Texas. I've performed in Houston, Texas. As far as stand-up is concerned, I'm planning to go to New York actually in next month. April 20th through the 28th, I'll be in New York. Got some venues and gigs lined up for that. So that's exciting. The Big Apple, that's a big one for comedy. So I'm excited to kind of break the ice, literally, in New York.
Please keep us updated on that. I love New York.
I know you love New York. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What would be the drive for you to New York from where you are?
Drive? I would never drive in New York.
Not drive, not in the drive. I'm saying the drive from where you are to New York.
I would say a drive is drive right through. I would say 2 to 3 days with
2 to 3 days.
hotel
Okay.
stay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an hour and a half flight, but yeah, I drove through New Jersey and through New Jersey Tunnel,
Yeah.
and that was kind of mildly terrifying the way people drive. I was so glad to get rid of the rental and just walk or take the subway. They're very different. How is driving in Los Angeles? Be honest.
Well, they call this this, they call this city a transplant city, right? Because a lot of people who live here aren't from here.
Mhm.
So they bring all of their driving tendencies from their states over to this So to answer your question, it's not the greatest, but I don't know if that's the blame on the LA drivers or the transplant drivers. So it's kind of like, you know, it's funny. I ultimately, to me, it's like I you just you if you're just focused on where you need to go, and you're uh, being just semi responsible, you can drive pretty fine. You don't need to be, zigzagging and everything. So,
There's some kind of material in there. You can use it
oh yeah,
driving.
oh,
You
man,
can pick
driving,
on
yeah,
Oregon, Texas, California, New York. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, exactly. No, yeah, it's funny how driving shifts based on a state, or a city, because it's like it's still the same person behind that wheel. How does it what happens, right? Like if everyone just moved from one state to another state, does the driving still change? So that's something to explore there. But
I
yeah.
liked it. It's good.
Yeah.
What is on the agenda for the next? Well, you said New York, but right now it's March. You're going in
Yeah.
April. So
Yeah.
what is currently happening right now where you're at?
So I help a friend of mine who runs a show at the Laugh Factory every Thursday. It's called Tehran Thursdays. I help. His name is Tehran, actually, I help him run the show every Thursday. I help him promote it, and I'm actually performing on that show on March 14th. Before that, I'll be this week. I'll be at the Hollywood Roosevelt this coming Friday, March 8th. And then March 9th, the next day, I'll be at the Comedy Chateau. And then I got a few other shows. And then I'm producing my own show, Sunset Sunday. Comedy is my brand of comedy. I'm putting that at the Sunset Rooftop, as I mentioned earlier. So that's happening on March 24th. And finally, we're putting together a first ever brunch show, so like an early afternoon show at a venue called Seven Kingdom. That's March 31st. So follow me on Instagram as I post all of these dates. And if you're out here, come hang out with me, share some laughs, and share some love.
Excellent. How's your merchandising?
Merchandising, I'm almost sold out. So when I went to Austin, Texas last year, I actually sold a lot of my beanies. I was doing a lot of beanies and hats. I'm in the process of ordering a fresh batch of merch. What's really useful for comedy is stickers. Okay, so
Stickers.
right. I'm trying to see if I got one around here, but a few friends of mine who are amazing comics themselves, they get a sticker with their logo or even their headshot, and it's simply just whatever their brand is. Like one of my good friends, his name is Jason Acevedo, who lives in Chicago, and he's also a teacher, and his students call him Mr. Avocado. So so as a result, he took that and ran with it. So now his logo is actually his face in the middle of an avocado, which is hilarious. Um,
That's excellent.
it's branding, right? It's
Right.
great. It's you could take something and say, "Hey, that's not my name," or you could be like, "You know what? I'm going to run with that. That's a great idea." I go by Pej the Maniac. I've been called Pej the Mechanic by accident, so I have fun with that. So there's a lot there. And so my merch coming up, I'm working around these ideas to put on stickers, potentially more headgear, and then T-shirts. Is kind of the big one, but just learning that part of this business as well. It's a great luckily, again, I have a lot of veterans here that are more than happy to help me and give me insight on how to best go through with these. So
I love how you are constantly on the go. Okay. and you organize your life that way over time. But the more you do something, the more confidence and the more you learn, the quicker you learn, the faster you learn what to do, what not to do. And you're not one of those people that are dabblers. Dabblers get nowhere and they get frustrated and ultimately they sometimes quit. I love how you're scheduling things with your life and keeping
Yeah.
the ball rolling.
I wasn't always that way. I gotta say. So that's I think because I'm habitually an overthinker. So what I had to do was get in front of that, right? And you and I have spoken a lot about overthinking and how do you stop the mind from getting stagnant and just kind of you get into this daze of like, if I do this tomorrow, it's gonna then lead to this on the next day, and then that day I'm gonna go into plan B, and then the
Again, this is material. Okay.
yeah, this is like, then plan C is waiting around the corner, and next thing you know, you waited a whole week and you haven't made a move, right?
Right. But
And
I'm
it's
thinking,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I'm planning here. Yeah, it's like the planning part, and so what I learned is put one foot in front of the other, okay, and not be afraid to fail, because that's, I think, where a lot of people stop and start thinking. This game isn't meant to be perfected before you execute it. It's actually where you perfect it is by doing it. And what I've learned from that is when I fall on my face on a joke that no one cares about, people respect you for trying that, right? People say, okay, you went for that and it didn't work, but that's okay, because guess what? You're going to polish that and try it again, right?
Absolutely.
It's free. It's free to try things again.
Thank you. Yes.
That's the point. You have an endless source of retrying things, and even when jokes work, you can retry them. That's the beauty of it. And if you're not in the stand-up world and you're in the acting world, you're gonna act on an audition that when you submit it, you're gonna like, oh man, I shouldn't have done it like that. I wanted to do it this way. You look back and you can hate it. You can be like, this was the worst take I've ever had. It's part of it. You did it. Have grace in the fact that you're doing something 90% of the world is afraid to do.
This is the wisdom of Pej.
Yeah, and it's come to me by several reattempts and trying again. Listen, I'm 38 years old. I started changing my life and going the route that I'm going at 34 years old. It's not like the previous 34 years was me just thinking and planning, right? And you already know I had a whole career in music, and it's like I would stop doing music because it wasn't perfect, right? And then I was like, I will not display that on stage. I will not put that in the studio. Okay, have fun with that. And then fast forward 34 years and you're like, well, I didn't put it in the studio. So now what? Right? Yeah. So
Oh, that's excellent.
yeah, so and I'm not regretting it. I'm just saying I learned, and sometimes you gotta fall on your face to get that wake up call, and I think I had that at 34. So
Excellent.
yeah,
Hey, Pej, if someone wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
just grab me by the t-shirt, and you grabbed me. But
So
no.
convenient.
But if you don't want to do that, and if you feel weird about that, you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on TikTok. Just don't follow me home. You can follow me. It's all the same handle, Pej the Maniac. Pej spelled P-E-J. The Maniac spelled exactly as you would spell Taz the Maniac. So it's the exact same spelling. And don't call me a mechanic. All right. I'll fix your car and you'll be stuck there for until the real mechanic shows up. But yeah,
Excellent.
Pej the Maniac. You can follow me and I'll follow you back.
All right, cool. It is a privilege, as always, my friend, to see you and to interview you, especially. We're going to see you in the Big Apple, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a bite of it and see if I get poisoned.
Yeah, just don't eat the wine.
Yeah. But no, thank you, David. This is I always love jumping on your show, and just even the friendship that you've offered me, I'll always cherish, and I've learned a lot from you. Follow this man, very wise man, an expert in his own right in the acting world and theater, and life coach. You helped me kind of align my vision in the beginning, right? So I'll always be indebted to you for that, and we have a lifelong friendship until you say that's enough.
No, I will never do that. All right, thank you, Pej. Break a leg. Continue to break a leg. Just don't fall over.
Yeah, I'll try not to. I appreciate you, David. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you for being on Real Actors, Real Answers, sir.
Thank you.